Well, thank you guys both for joining me. I've got Jon Duncan from Southwestern University and Brad Dunn from Lynchburg University here. And we are talking about, they both do a web series called Coffee with Coaches, which is great, and I recommend everyone test it out. But now we're kind of doing it the reverse. It's my turn to interview them instead of them grilling all of the coaches. So first, both of you guys have had an opportunity to create a team more or less from scratch. I want to know from both of you guys how that's different than maintaining a team that you've cultivated, and what decisions went into deciding, hey, I want to start this program and make it my own and go from ground zero. So Brad, why don't you start? More recent for you. What was the thinking about for coming to Lynchburg and starting a program from ground zero?
Yeah, no, I appreciate you having me on, Enser, and it's fun to be here. And to start with that question, a lot of the credit goes to my good friend Jon down there. I don't know if he's on the bottom of your screen like he is on mine. But an opportunity when I was coaching with Jon out in Texas as his assistant out there, really wanted to pursue a head coaching opportunity and go into a program. And understanding that as a first-time head coach, it was going to have to take some big steps and maybe take over some more difficult situations than others. And I really felt like this was an awesome opportunity because I grew up mostly in the state of Virginia. You and I are both alums of University of Mary Washington, just 2 hours up the road. I know the PVS, Potomac Valley Swimming, LSC, as well as Virginia Swimming. Here in Lynchburg, I get to be kind of in the middle of that. And it was a challenge to start a team. It gave me a year to recruit and then get rolling with it at a school where really high-valued academics and athletics and really successful athletics. And so a little bit of pressure there, but not really in the sense of having the support of the campus, of the other coaches, of the athletic department, and really got to come in and figure out that we wanted to build a team around culture and around positivity and around ambition. And so looking at those things when we were recruiting, Lynchburg is a great place where we're close enough to DC, but we're also in a place in Virginia where, beautiful right here at the side of the Blue Ridge Mountains on the James River, great people in the area. And I think that was attractive to a lot of swimmers, and especially swimmers that wanted the challenge of being on a new team. And coming into this program that we have, it was a lot of fun to tackle some of those big challenges and goals in year one, and now heading into season number 2, continuing to set those high standards. So while it was a challenge, if you find the right people and the right energy around you, I think that it's definitely a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and very thankful to have it.
And Jon, for you, Rhodes College, it sounded like that was kind of a program more or less that was starting at a fairly basic level. What was it like for that, and compared to your current position at Southwestern?
So when I started out at Rhodes College, I was 25, soon to be 26 in that transition period of starting and then being on campus. But I knew Rhodes was something special coming in as first full-time head coach. There was Dick Fadgen, legendary club coach in the area, who was part-time coach, along with Mike Clary, the past AD. And it was a nice little foundation, but the growth in numbers needed to do a better job building that. But Memphis, Tennessee recruited itself there. St. Jude, UT, health science centers were there. So kind of looked at, if you want to be in the health field, Rhodes College is right there, and it's a good opportunity for our students to do internships, to shadow. But Memphis is a really cool area. I mean, you have the food, the music scene, the history of rock and roll is all there. So it was pretty easy for me to sell, and also, having that those locations was good for recruiting. And it took me a little while to build Rhodes. I think coming in as 26 years old, a little confident, and I thought I knew everything, and it took me a while, maybe 1 or 2 years, to really start asking questions, calling coaches, and figuring out what makes them successful. But was there for 6 years, and now here going on my 10th year at Southwestern University. We're 27 miles north of Austin, Texas, but one of the fastest growing cities in Texas. So, we kind of use that too, as far as being near a big city, using that recruiting tool. But Georgetown is essentially located in Texas. And so Houston, Dallas, and San Antonio is some big cities that we recruit from. And it's really just kind of advertising and knowing your market and institution. One is academics for Division III. It's got to be number one. And then really what type of students can you draw and what are going to be successful, and also, have that positive experience.
Well, great. I mean, I think, something a lot of people in the DC metro area that I think will be watching this are kids who are looking potentially to swim in college or interested in what that process might entail. So, some things about going through the recruiting process. Brad, for you, if you are a high school student, what would you recommend to anybody thinking about swimming at a D3 level in terms of setting the groundwork to either be recruited or to explore the option of swimming in college?
Yeah, I think that's, it's one of those tough things and we always talk about it with recruits, is that, we try to be as open as possible and as helpful as possible, because it's scary, right? It's intimidating. I mean, all of us were there, getting recruited at different levels. John was a big time swimmer at Purdue, so maybe different than what you and I had, Enser. They had people knocking at his door to drag him out there to recruit him. But I think what I would really recommend is that you've got to figure out what type of place you want to be a part of, what you want to study, and start to make those lists and look around. And once you kind of have a list of some colleges and some programs that you're interested in, reach out to those coaches. Send an email to that coach and all of the assistants that are listed on that website. Find if there's a questionnaire to fill out for that website. A lot of them are really quick and really easy. And and put yourself out there. I think that's one thing where when you come into our program, coaches, we're here to develop young women and young men. But at the same time, we don't want to hold their hand through everything. So I really love when young people show the initiative and reach out, articulate, and do those things. And I think that sets them at a very high level. A lot of respect for those types of swimmers that reach out to us. And regardless of the talent level, it might be somebody who is making NCSA cuts and going to junior nationals. We're always excited to see those fast times, but even more excited, maybe somebody who's only been swimming club since they started high school or just recently, but the enthusiasm is there. Those swimmers excite me just as much as that national caliber swimmer coming in. And I think that's really, when John and I talk about building our programs and improving our programs, it all starts with that enthusiasm. And from that is where the culture and the talent will develop.
John, for you, when you are looking at recruits or people who've shown interest or things like that, what are the types of things that you are looking for in a potential swimmer for Southwestern?
Well, it's, do we have the major they're seeking? We're a liberal arts institution. We don't have engineering, but we want to make sure that, they can get accepted to our institution. And so having being top 10, top 20% in our high school graduating class. We look at GPA, we look at class rank, and right now, even before the COVID hit, we're test optional. So we look at those factors, and a lot of it comes down to what we seek is character. And there's questions I ask a swimmer after every conversation. And I really tell them, if I went to your club program and talked to your teammates and coaches, what would they say about you? And I have them describe, just a few things about their character, and hopefully it's all good. But it lets them to really kind of reflect on what type of individual they are. It's all about character, and what Brad was saying too, positivity, and just the culture of the program, having men and women coming in that are positive, that will be supportive, and can make an impact. And so I advise everyone to go to collegeswimming.com, type in the college institution, go to top times, and see where they fit in. Are they going to be, top 3? Are they going to be 15th, 20th? If they're down the lower 15, 20, I think it may not be a good fit. And so we do have some walk-on standards like a lot of institutions. I'm sure, Brad, you'll be getting there soon, maybe even this year. So, but it's there's so many things. You want out of state, you want in state, you want within an hour drive. Just last week we had a sophomore come visit us. And so it's not too early to even start visiting those institutions, meeting those coaches. I also recommend just not send a questionnaire, because everyone can do that. Follow it up with a personal email and stating why you're interested in that institution. And it really, like Brad was saying too, they've done some investment, and anybody can fill out a questionnaire, but it's really that follow up, that personal email about why they like that institution, what they're interested in studying, can really help us out and really move them up on the recruiting, for us, our system database that we collect.
And Jon, being a Purdue swimmer and a D3 coach, could you help break down, if people are maybe not at the level of Purdue, but if swimmers are debating between the D1 level versus the D3 level, what kind of things would you recommend that swimmers keep in mind when trying to make that decision?
One is it's the class, the academic setting is one of the big differences between Division I. There's some small Division I institutions out there, and there's some, medium-sized Division III institutions. But I guess the classroom size, you look at just more of a smaller classroom setting for Division III. As in most cases, a large lecture hall with 100 to 200 plus students for a Division I. Now, my experience was great. It was awesome. I would never change that at all. The friendships I've made at Purdue and the experience was amazing. So, you look at, we go back to the times and where you're going to fit in that conference. You want to be top 8, or you're going to be top 16, or you want to, not even score. And some students are okay with that. They just want to be part of a Division I team. But some will look at it and be like, hey, I want to be an impact swimmer. I want an opportunity to maybe go to nationals, and D3 maybe up my alley. So, there's clearly those Division I swimmers that are clearly Division I. And but there's swimmers that are right on the bubble of they could swim for Division I, Division III. And I advise them to, visit a few Division I schools, visit a few Division III schools, and what's going to be the best fit for him or her. And are they going to be on a relay right away, or do they have to work their way up to a relay? Are they going to be on a conference roster? So there's so many things as far as how are you going to make an impact on their team. And, it's just one of those as far as just doing the research and making sure it's the right fit.
Now, Brad, we talked a little bit about starting your program in the beginning. What do you feel like, obviously, COVID environment, things are a little up in the air. In an ideal setting, assuming there's no hiccups or things like that with the swim season coming up, what do you feel like are your goals for this year as a coach with your program? And what are your goals over the next 5 years for Lynchburg swimming?
Yeah, great questions, right? And a big part of the process. And, I would say, and the only unfair part of the question is to say that there are no hiccups, assuming no hiccups, right? You've got to assume that. And, one of the foundations of our program, we talk about curveballs all the time, something I know you remember our coach talking about at Mary Wash. And, it's something that prepared us pretty well this first year. We talked about things, what we can control and can't control. And a lot of, coaches will talk about that. And so it prepared us really well for this spring and for, a very drastic event with dealing with the pandemic. And when we do get back to our swim season and focusing on those goals, keeping our culture is the culture that is ambitious, is enthusiastic, and and takes care of one another is something that's going to be a consistent goal we have, along with maintaining an academic All-American status. First semester, we had our team GPA was over 3.0. Same thing again, team average GPA over 3.0 this semester, which for a team of a lot of first-year freshmen I was very happy about that. A lot of people kind of take some time to figure things out. So maintaining that status is going to be consistent. And I think that the overarching goals are going to be really looking at what can we do to break into the national stage, not just be, a tight, well-knit team here in Lynchburg, but how do we get recognized nationally? And I think that that's going to take getting our first individuals for nationals, taking our first relays for nationals, and then cracking into scoring points and making the top 25. And so, I really see those are all things that we can accomplish in the first 5 years of the program. And, and within that, I think that, not necessarily want to look at just winning the ODAC and that because there's great programs and great coaches in our conference. And my hope is that we all elevate one another in the conference together and to, not only Lynchburg getting to those nationally recognized spots, but also our peers in the conference and the ODAC and continuing to support that. So, really see those as being big time goals of ours and really special opportunities for our swimmers to be the first ones to go to nationals, the first ones to score at nationals, the first ones to be a part of those big moments. And I think that was the big draw for the group that we had this year and the group that we've recruited and are coming in and the ones that we're going to continue to recruit, the class of 2021 and on. It's a really unique opportunity to be the pioneers of those goals and those ambitions. So very excited about that.
And John, same question to you. This year, next 5 years, what are you looking forward to with the program and what are you hoping to achieve?
Yeah, well, it's all, every year we have our goal meetings with our administrators and we go through kind of what our yearly goal is. And beginning my 10th year, we had some bumps in the road. I think maybe year 4 or 5, and that was kind of a culture change as far as recruiting the right people. And it took me a few years to really not just look at numbers, but look at the right people coming into our program and how even just one person can make an impact as far as maybe being a cancer or killing a program, right? And so we want to, always do the best we can do and see and evaluate. And the recruiting is to evaluate those individuals and to remove those individuals if they become a cancer and negative in our program. So, we always look at, we start with our small term goals and winning a conference title. And we did that last year and on the men's side. And it kind of seems that our men went up and now our women are going up. So hopefully we can get all men and women on the same page as far as going up on the national level. But we do have one national qualifier last year. Jessie Stovall qualified in the 50, the 100 free, and the 100 fly. And unfortunately, with COVID, she couldn't go to nationals. But we still have Reagan Hartzell that qualified 2 years ago in the 100 breaststroke. So we have those coming back along with 2 incoming freshmen that can really help us on the relay. So we look at on the women's side, I think we can bring a couple of relays to nationals next year. And hopefully our men will do the same the next year or two. So, the next 5 years, if we get to national, we get a couple of relays to nationals and we'd be top 25, that would be amazing. And, if we can win a conference title, the first conference title ever in women's school history, that would be great too. So we have some goals and, I think it's just the right people you bring in and making sure as a team we're on the same page and you really vocalize those goals to the team that you have, and doing it the right way too. And I think my first 3 or 4 years, I talked about nationals so much that we got the conference and we didn't make a national cut, and I think everyone just got stressed out. So it's just kind of doing that in a way, know internally that, hey, these are our goals. And I think last year when we won conference, we never talked about winning a conference title the whole year. We just talked about how can we get better? How can each individual get better? How can we come together as a team better? And, Brad was there just at the start of the culture change and, really going through that year. And then we bring in the right people and all of a sudden things fell in place and we won a conference title. So, but I think, it's tough, that 5-year goal. We kind of take it year by year, but, ultimately the next 5 years, which will be, I think, year 15 for me. Geez. Hopefully we do have a national presence every single year. That'd be awesome.
And, just big picture, past Lynchburg and Southwestern, for each of you guys, I want to know what a favorite coaching memory is for you. So, Brad, why don't we start with you? Less time, obviously, in the coaching scene than Jon, but what to you has been one of your favorite memories so far in that budding great swim coaching career you've got going?
Yeah. Well, I appreciate the compliments on it, but I think that there's a lot of good ones, and watching a lot of individual successes has been a lot of fun, and it's what's so rewarding about this profession. But the one that sticks out the most to me was when I was at Rhodes College. After Jon had moved to Southwestern, I coached with my good friend Charlie Bamey out there. We won a conference championship, first in school history. Jon had started really putting the pieces together there, and then Charlie came in, and I joined in as a full-time assistant, and it came down to the 400 freestyle relay at the end of the meet on the women's side, and I still remember just being almost faint, getting ready for that relay to start. And you can't act that way as a coach. You got to be confident, and you got to be supportive. And the women that were swimming in it, they didn't want to even know the score. They didn't want to know anything. They went to the warm-up pool and left all of us on our side, and they didn't even come back by. They just went straight behind the blocks, and they won it. And they won the relay. It was back and forth. Won the relay, which won us the championship meet. And just the overflowing emotion of that moment, and just hugging Charlie and the team. Even the women or the women's side won it, but the guys are part of that too, and so the guys are so excited. And just seeing that and seeing the years of work that go into a moment like that. I mean, that's what hooks you in, and that's what I think is so fun about this job, is you get moments like that, but then you get the day-to-day of building towards that. And maybe you don't win a conference championship or win a national championship, but you have those small successes along the way, and you build those relationships between your team members, and it's pretty cool. So that's definitely the one that comes out, sticks out. But Jon and I had a lot of good times too. Don't want to glaze over that fact.
I was about to say, Jon, I guess you better make your favorite coaching memory involve Brad.
About Brad, yeah.
Just leave him out to dry there. So, but Jon, seriously, to you, what would you consider one of your favorite coaching memories?
Yeah, it was probably Brad and I just grilling out on Sundays, having some chicken legs and talking about swimming, right? That's,
I can't believe that's not Brad's favorite memory too.
That was the best memory. I can't believe you didn't say that, Brad. I mean, that's some good bonding times. No, I think, I guess there's multiple memories, and every year, every class that graduates is a special class to me. Watching them come in as seniors in high school, maybe even get to know them as a freshman or sophomore or junior in high school, and developing in that relationship with them over a course of 5 years, really, by the time they're seniors, senior high school to seniors in college, and just watching them just grow, hopefully getting faster, achieving their goal times, but really just diving into their major, their coursework, their internships that they do, their accomplishments in the summer, the awards they receive academically. And ultimately, the biggest, every favorite memory is watching them graduate and crossing that stage and getting their diploma. And we do an annual tradition, and unfortunately, the tradition didn't happen this year, but we'll get that hopefully when they come back and doing a graduation in October here at Southwestern. But they stand on the pool deck with their caps and gowns, and they hold that diploma up by the pool. And that's kind of the best memories I have of our program and team, and knowing that, I played a big part in their lives, recruiting them to Southwestern University, and know that I see that process over 4 years that they go through.
Well, that's great. And then, of course, I've got to ask the obligatory coronavirus question, which is, in quarantine, have you guys picked any new hobbies up, watched any new TV shows, any specific movies? Brad, what have you been doing, if you've been doing anything new over this quarantine time?
Yeah, I'd say the show that Jon and I have been doing. We had talked about it for so long, and wouldn't it be fun to do this? We drink coffee and we interview people, and that'd be great. And it always, we kind of glazed over it. And then when we were, when we kind of buckled down and we were looking at what to ways to be productive with our time. We thought it was a great example of something to do, and it's been great. We've connected with friends from my coaching career, from John's coaching career, people we've worked with together. I've met some new coaches, introduced him to some new people, and it's been awesome. So really enjoying doing that and being productive with that, as well as the normal day-to-day with recruiting and managing the team. And then outside of that, finally taking some time to work my way reading through all the Lord of the Rings books. So I'll finish with them, and that's been a long time goal of mine. So I'm going to get through that.
As someone who's attempted and failed that, those books are kind of dry, but
yeah, it wasn't speed reading, but no, it's been fun to take a chapter or two here and there.
And John, what about you? Any new hobbies or anything in quarantine?
Well, the gardening's increased. I think if you look outside the backyard, I got about 6 tomato plants and a few cucumber plants and peppers. But definitely, I think number one is spending time with my wife and 2 kids. It's been just a fantastic opportunity to really just become a better dad and to really just watch them over the course of 3 months. And they're in daycare now, but wife's back at work and I'm in the office here and there too. But I think it's just really just, being a better dad and watching them. And there's been so many things that we've done and created some great memories.
Well, great. I appreciate you guys both. What was that?
Oh, so and the podcast I've been doing with Brad, so it's been
just one up him every time. I appreciate it.
It's been great, Brad. I mean, just the time I spent with Brad, usually twice a week, under quarantine. It's been amazing.
Yeah.
No, it really does sound like, John, you really appreciate your time with Brad, and it does not seem reciprocal.
Give me a break. Hey, that was the first thing I mentioned was our podcast. So don't try to throw me under the bus there, Enser.
Well, I appreciate you guys both being on, and I guess now I'll have to return the favor at some point, although I'm not a coach, but maybe I'll be able to be on this podcast of yours. But thanks for joining me, and hopefully we'll be making your guys' suit here in the next month or so.
I know we can talk about some caps, Enser. And
get those cap orders in early.
Yeah, I hope everybody watching understands the great job that you guys do and how much you've helped us out. And yeah, thanks for having us on. This was awesome. A lot of fun.
Right, Enser. This has been great. Nice finally meeting you. You guys got a fantastic company over there.
Thank you very much.
All right.